We now come to scenes 4 and 5 of Act 1. As we discussed in the past, a play is divided into acts, and each act is divided into scenes. And we have read Act 1, scenes 1, 2, and 3. So now we enter scenes 4 and 5. Just a reminder, this play was written by Israel Horovitz, and a playwright is simply a person who writes a play. Israel Horovitz had some success off-Broadway and in European theaters, and a little bit of success in Hollywood. This play is an adaptation of A Christmas Carol, which is a novel written by Charles Dickens, and it's about life in London, England, in the mid-1800s during a time of industrial growth, but much poverty as well. These are the characters in the play, and as we have learned in the past, a character is anything that does anything in the story. A character does not have to be a person. It can be a cup, it can be an animal, but in this particular case, all of the characters are people and ghosts. The major characters in this play are Jacob Marley, Ebenezer Scrooge, Bob Cratchit, the Ghost of Christmas Past, the Ghost of Christmas Present, Tiny Tim Cratchit, and the Ghost of Christmas Future. And as the play develops, you'll get to know each of these quite well. We have learned in the past that setting is when and where a story takes place. This particular story takes place in London, England in 1843 on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and the morning after Christmas. There are several specific locations in London, which include Scrooge's home and offices, the Cratchit home, Fred's home, Scrooge's school, Fezziwig's offices, and Old Joe's hideaway. As scene 4 opens, we hear Hark the Herald Angels Sing, being sung by an onstage choir of children with the spotlight on them. Above, Scrooge is in his bed, dead to the world, asleep in his darkened room. It should appear that the choir is singing somewhere outside of the house, of course, and the use of scrim, or thin screen, is suggested. When the singing is ended, the choir should fade out of view and Marley should fade into view in their place. From this point forth, I shall be quite visible to you, but invisible to him. He will feel my presence, nevertheless, for unless my senses fail me completely, we are, you and I, witness to the changing of a miser, that one, my partner in life, in business, and in eternity, that one, Scrooge. He moves to the staircase below Scrooge. See him now! He endeavors to pierce the darkness with his ferret eyes. See him now! He listens for the hour. The bells toll. Scrooge is awakened and quakes as the hour approaches 1 o'clock. But the bells stop their sound at the hour of 12. Midnight. Why, this isn't possible. It was past 2 when I went to bed. An icicle must have gotten into the clock's works. I couldn't have slept through the whole day and far into another night. It isn't possible that anything has happened to the sun, and this is 12 at noon. He runs to the window, unshutters the same. It is night. Night still, quiet, normal for the season, cold. It is certainly not noon. I cannot in any way afford to lose my days. Securities come due, promissory notes, interest on investments. These are things that happen in the daylight. He returns to his bed. Was this a dream? Marley appears in the room. He speaks to the audience. You see, he does not, with faith, believe in me fully, even still. Whatever will it take to turn the faith of a miser from money to men? Another quarter and it'll be one, and Marley's ghostly friends will come. Where's the chime for one? A quarter past? Half past? A quarter to it? But where's the heavy bell of the hour one? This is a game in which I lose my senses. Perhaps, if allowed myself another short doze. Doze, Ebenezer, doze! A heavy bell thuds its one ring, dull and definitely 1 o'clock. There is a flash of light. Scrooge sits up in a sudden. A hand draws back the curtains by his bed. He sees it. A hand! Who owns it? Hello! Ghostly music plays again, but of a new nature to the play. A strange figure stands before Scrooge, like a child, yet at the same time like an old man. White hair, but unwrinkled skin, long muscular arms, but delicate legs and feet. Wears white tunic, lustrous belt cinches waist, branch of fresh green holly in its hand, but has its dress trimmed with fresh summer flowers. Clear jets of light spring from the crown of its head, holds cap in hand. The spirit is called Past. Are you the spirit, sir, whose coming was foretold to me? I am. Does he take this to be a vision of his greengrocer? Who and what are you? I am the ghost of Christmas past. Long past? Your past. May I please ask, sir, what business have you here with me? Your welfare. Not to sound ungrateful, sir, and really, please do understand that I am plenty obliged for your concern, but really, kind spirit, it would have done all the better for my welfare to have been left alone altogether, to have slept peacefully through the night. Your reclamation, then. Take heed. My what? He motions to Scrooge and takes his arm. Rise! Fly with me! He leads Scrooge to the window. Scrooge is panicked. Fly? But I am a mortal and cannot fly. The ghost points to his heart. Bear but a touch of my hand here, and you shall be upheld in more than this. Scrooge touches the spirit's heart, and the lights dissolve into sparkly flickers. Lovely crystals of music are heard. The scene dissolves into another. There's Christmas music again. As we enter scene 5, Scrooge and the ghost of Christmas past walk together across an open stage. In the background, we see a field that is open, covered by a soft, downy snow, and there is a country road. Good heaven, I was bred in this place. I was a boy here. Scrooge freezes, staring at the field beyond. Marley's ghost appears beside him, takes Scrooge's face in his hands, and turns his face to the audience. You see this, Scrooge? Stricken by the feeling, conscious of 1,000 odors floating in the air, each one connected with 1,000 thoughts and hopes and joys and care long, long forgotten. This one, this Scrooge, before your very eyes returns to life among the living. You'd best pay your most careful attention. I would suggest rapt. There is a small flash and puff of smoke, and Marley is gone again. Your lip is trembling, Mr. Scrooge, and what is that upon your cheek? Upon my cheek? Nothing. A blemish on the skin from the eating of overmuch grease. Nothing. Kind spirit of Christmas past, lead me where you will, but quickly. To be stagnant in this place is, for me, unbearable. You recollect the way? Remember it. I would know it blindfolded. My bridge, my church, my winding river. He staggers about, trying to see it all at once. He weeps again. These are but shadows of things that have been. They have no consciousness of us. 4 jocund travelers enter, singing a Christmas song in 4-part harmony. God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Listen, I know these men. I remember the beauty of their song. But why do you remember it so happily? Is it Merry Christmas that they say to one another? What is Merry Christmas to you, Mr. Scrooge? Out upon Merry Christmas, right? What good has Merry Christmas ever done you, Mr. Scrooge? None. No good. None. He bows his head. Look you, sir. A school ahead. The schoolroom is not quite deserted. A solitary child, neglected by his friends, is left still there. Scrooge falls to the ground, sobbing as he sees, and we see, a small boy, the young Scrooge, sitting and weeping bravely, alone at his desk, alone in a vast space, a void. I cannot look on him. You must, Mr. Scrooge, you must. It's me. Poor boy. He lived inside his head, alone. Poor boy. I wish. It's too late. What's the matter? There was a boy singing a Christmas carol outside my door last night. I should have liked to have given him something. That's all. The ghost of Christmas past smiles and waves his hand to Scrooge. Come, let us see another Christmas. The lights go out on the little boy. A flash of light, a puff of smoke, lights up on older boy. Look, me again, older now. Oh, yes, still alone. The boy, a slightly older Scrooge, sits alone in a chair, reading. The door to the room opens and a young girl enters. She is much, much younger than this slightly older Scrooge. She is, say, 6, and he is, say, 12. Elder Scrooge and the ghost of Christmas past stand watching the scene, unseen. Dear brother, I have come to bring you home. Home, little Fan? Yes, home for good and all. Father is so much kinder than he ever used to be, and home's like heaven. He spoke so gently to me one dear night when I was going to bed that I was not afraid to ask him once more if you might come home, and he said yes, you should, and sent me in a coach to bring you, and you're to be a man and are never to come back here. But first, we're to be together all the Christmas long and have the merriest time in the world. You're quite a woman, little Fan. She drags at the boy, causing him to stumble to the door with her. Suddenly we hear a mean and terrible voice in the hallway. Off. It is the schoolmaster. Bring down Mr. Scrooge's travel box at once. He is to travel. Who is that, Ebenezer? Oh, quiet, Fan. It is the schoolmaster himself. The door bursts open, and into the room bursts with it the schoolmaster. Master Scrooge! Oh, schoolmaster, I'd like you to meet my little sister, Fan, sir. 2 boys struggle on with Scrooge's trunk. Please, sir, she curtsies. You are to travel, Master Scrooge. Yes, sir, I know, sir. All start to exit, but Fan grabs the coattail of the mean old schoolmaster. Fan! What's this? Pardon, sir, but I believe that you've forgotten to say your goodbye to my brother, Ebenezer, who stands still now awaiting it. She smiles, curtsies, lowers her eyes. Pardon, sir. Schoolmaster is amazed. Harumph. Well then, goodbye, Scrooge. Well, goodbye, Schoolmaster. The lights fade out on all but the boy looking at Fan, and Scrooge and the Ghost of Christmas Past looking at them. Oh, my dear little sister Fan, how I loved her. Always a delicate creature whom a breath might have withered, but she had a large heart, so she had. She died a woman, and had, as I think, children. One child. True, your nephew. Yes. Fine, then. We move on, Mr. Scrooge. That warehouse there, do you know it? Know it? Wasn't I apprenticed there? We'll have a look. They enter the warehouse. The lights crossfade with them, coming up in an old man in a Welsh wig, Mr. Fezziwig. Why, that's old Fezziwig! Bless his heart, it's Fezziwig alive again. Fezziwig sits behind a large high desk, counting. He lays down his pen, looks at the clock. 7 bells sound. Quitting time! Quitting time! He takes off his waistcoat and laughs, calls off, Yo-ho, Ebenezer, Dick! Dick Wilkins and Ebenezer Scrooge, a young man version, enter the room. Dick and Ebenezer are Fezziwig's apprentices. Dick Williams, to be sure, my fellow prentice. Bless my soul, yes, there he is. He was very much attached to me, was Dick. Poor Dick. Dear, dear. Yo-ho, my boys, no more work tonight. Christmas Eve. Christmas. They stand at attention in front of Fezziwig, laughing. Hilly-ho, clear away, and let's have lots of room here. Hilly-ho, cheer up. The young men clear the room, sweep the floor, straighten the pictures, trim the lamps, etc. The space is clear now. A fiddler enters, fiddling. Hi-ho, Matthew, fiddle away. Where are my daughters? The fiddler plays. 3 young daughters of Fezziwig enter, followed by 6 young adult male suitors. They are dancing to the music. All employees come in. Workers, clerks, housemaids, cousins, the baker, etc. All dance. Full number wanted here. Throughout the dance, food is brought into the feast. It is eaten and danced by the dancers. Ebenezer dances with all 3 of the daughters, as does Dick. They compete for the daughters, happily, in the dance. Fezziwig dances with his daughters. Fezziwig dances with Dick and Ebenezer. The music changes. Mrs. Fezziwig enters. She lovingly scolds her husband. They dance. She dances with Ebenezer, lifting him and throwing him about. She is enormously fat. When the dance is ended, they all dance off, floating away, as does the music. Scrooge and the Ghost of Christmas Past stand alone now. The music is gone. It was a small matter that Fezziwig made those silly folks so full of gratitude. Small? Shh! Lights up on Dick and Ebenezer. We are blessed, Ebenezer, truly, to have such a master as Mr. Fezziwig. He is the best, the very and absolute best. If ever I own a firm of my own, I shall treat my apprentices with the same dignity and the same grace. We have learned a wonderful lesson from the master, Dick. Ah, that's a fact, Ebenezer. That's a fact. Was it not a small matter, really? He spent but a few pounds of his mortal money on your small party, 3 or 4 pounds, perhaps. Is that so much that he deserves such praise as you and Dick so lavish now? It isn't that. It isn't that, Spirit. Fezziwig had the power to make us happy or unhappy, to make our service light or burdensome, a pleasure or a toil. The happiness he gave is quite as great as if it cost him a fortune. What's the matter? Nothing particular. Something, I think. No, no. I should like to be able to say a word or two to my clerk just now. That's all. Ebenezer enters the room and shuts down all the lamps. He stretches and yawns. The ghost of Christmas past turns to Scrooge all of a sudden. My time grows short. Quick! In a flash of light, Ebenezer is gone, and in his place stands an older Scrooge. This one a man in the prime of his life. Beside him stands a woman in a mourning dress. She is crying. She speaks to the man with hostility. It matters little. To you very little. Another idol has displaced me. What idol has displaced you? A golden one. This is an even-handed dealing of the world. There is nothing on which it is so hard as poverty, and there is nothing it professes to condemn with such severity as the pursuit of wealth. You fear the world too much. Have I not seen your nobler aspirations fall off one by one, until the master passion, gain, engrosses you? Have I not? No. What then? Even if I have grown so much wiser, what then? Have I changed towards you? No. Am I? Our contract is an old one. It was made when we were both poor and content to be so. You are changed. When it was made, you were another man. I was not another man. I was a boy. Your own feeling tells you that you are not what you are. I am. That which promised happiness when we were one in heart is fraught with misery now that we are two. No. How often and how keenly I have thought of this, I will not say. It is often that I have thought of it, and can release you. Don't release me, madam. Don't release me. Have I ever sought release? In words, no, never. In what then? In a changed nature, in an altered spirit, in everything that made my love of any worth or value in your sight. If this has ever been between us, tell me, would you seek me out and try to win me now? Ah, no. Ah, yes. You think not? I would gladly think otherwise if I could. Heaven knows. But if you were free today, tomorrow, yesterday, can even I believe that you would choose a dowerless girl? You who in your very confidence with her weigh everything by gain, or choosing her, do I not know that your repentance and regret would surely follow? I do, and I release you with a full heart for the love of him you once were. Please, 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 you may, the memory of what is past half makes me hope you will have pain in this, a very, very brief time, and you will dismiss the memory of it as an unprofitable dream from which it happened. Well that you awoke. May you be happy in the life that you have chosen for yourself. No! Yourself. Alone. No! Goodbye, Ebenezer. Don't let her go. Goodbye. No! She exits. Scrooge goes to the younger man himself. You fool! Mindless loon! You fool! The man says to the exited woman. Fool! Mindless loon! Fool! Don't say that, spirit. Remove me from this place. I have told you these were the shadows of the things that have been. They are what they are. Do not blame me, Mr. Scrooge. Remove me. I cannot bear it. The faces of all who appeared in this scene are now projected for a moment around the stage, enormous, flimsy, silent. Leave me. Take me back. Haunt me no longer. There is a sudden flash of light, a flare. The ghost of Christmas past is gone. Scrooge is, for the moment, alone on stage. His bed is turned down across the stage. A small candle burns now in Scrooge's hand. There is a child's cap in his other hand. He slowly crosses the stage to his bed to sleep. Marley appears behind Scrooge, who continues his long, elderly cross to bed. Marley speaks directly to the audience. Scrooge must sleep now. He must surrender to the irresistible drowsiness caused by the recognition of what was. The cap he carries is from 10 Knives Past, his boyhood cap, donned atop a hopeful hairy head, askew, perhaps, or at a rakish angle, doffed now in honor of regret, perhaps even too heavy to carry in his present state of weak remorse. Scrooge drops the cap. He lies atop his bed. He sleeps. He sleeps. For him, there's even more trouble ahead. For you, the playhouse tells me there's hot cider, as should be your anticipation for the spectre Christmas present and future, for I promise you both. So I pray you hurry back to your seats refreshed and ready for a miser to turn his coat of gray into a blazing Christmas holly red. A flash of lightning, a clap of thunder, bats fly, ghostly music. Marley is gone.